What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at some Hasbro Star Wars Black Series figures that appear on Disney+. So first off in this wave we're going to look at is the Jedi Temple Guard from the Clone Wars. So awesome to get a Temple Guard. Never thought that'd probably be really character or design we would get in a figure form, so really nice to have that. Then from Star Wars Visions we have the Ronin, which this is the color version. They did like a black and white version. I think it was like a Comic-Con exclusive or some sort of exclusive not too long ago, but now we have it, like, I guess you could say, in color and everything, so that's cool. Then moving over to the Ahsoka show, first off we have Ezra Bridger, as he appeared first in the show, with his more like hermit-like clothing or whatever, as well as what's labeled as a Night Trooper, although it's more of a zombified Death Trooper, but still looks cool, being part of the zombie characters that are resurrected by the Night Sisters. And then finally we have the deluxe figure from the skeleton crew of SM-33, so really cool to get the robot as well, so that'll be a nice cool bigger deluxe figure to look at as well. So a lot of figures to look at here today, so let me get them open out of the box and we'll take a look at them together. Let's start off with the Jedi Temple Guard, which are the security force of the Jedi Order that are tasked with protection of the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. They are Jedi Knights that are pulled from their ranks to become anonymous sentinels concealed with a mask and wear formal robes, but they are some of the best fighters of the Order and are required absolute emotional detachment. So cool to finally get a Jedi Temple Guard. These things are always cool, like when we see them a few times in the show, and just look awesome here in figure form. So really nice design with a lot of the gold and white, and of course the darker like tan color and stuff, so we have tan around the hood into the white and stuff. That looks really nice with the gold design, almost like the Jedi Order logos. Looks really nice. They're all white masks with the gold designs around it as well, just little slits for the eyes. Looks really good there. So again, the anonymity of hiding their identity there. Then we get the tanned color coming down the arms to get like little glove designs, and then we get the nice belt around the waist that has all sorts of like little pockets and keys or whatever's going on there. It looks pretty cool with the different like silver and gold colors. Then we get a little fabric material here hanging down in the front. Of course, the long like outfit there sort of hangs down, so very like skirt like or dress like whatever. And then like I said, the fabric here with the nice white outline. Get some dark brown pants underneath and brown boots there that come all the way down, so just looks really cool with the design. Like I said, all the color stuff just looks really nice and like royal and stuff, so it looks really cool. Now movement wise, the head will twist around. Of course, it's hiding behind the hood here, so it's hard to get the movement, so I can twist side to side. Of course, look up a little and look down a little, so not a whole lot of range there, unfortunately, because the hood is in the way. There'd be some more with that hood was there, but you know, it's fine the way it is. Shoulders will come up to 90 though, and have the butterfly back and forth and rotate around within there. Then we get the single elbow joint that bends there over 90 with rotation, and we get the wrist on the new like ball joint, so it'll twist all the way around and kind of like hinge back and forth to go up and down, side to side there, so that's nice. Then the ab crunch at the waist, so crunch back and forth there and twist all the way around. Then down to the hips, of course, with all this like material, it's hard, but can still come up to 90, out to the side that far. It does have a bit of a thigh twist up in there a little. Then the single knee joint that bends back to 90 with rotation in it. And then down to the foot, the rock back and forth and twist side to side. So pretty good movements overall, you know, the standard Star Wars movements. So nothing really surprising. Could have better range if you know, had double knees and elbows and all that sort of stuff. But with outfit design on him specifically, you know, that wouldn't really help out too much though. Now for accessories, the only thing he comes with is his lightsaber, which when reading about them, I said they have lightsaber pikes, but this just seems, you know, like a double-bladed lightsaber. And we get yellow blades. That's one thing with the guards. They tend to always have yellow blades, so we can obviously take that out and then store this on the belt. He does have a little piece here with the little peg and stuff. We would peg this into the side of his belt, so just attach it on like that. But of course, we want to give him the actual lightsaber, so let me put the blades back in. We'll put this in his hand. So there's the Temple Guard with his lightsaber there, so that looks really cool. So really nice design overall for the Temple Guards. Of course, you could army build these and stuff, you know, make a whole army of the Temple Guards, but they just look really cool. Like their designs a lot, and really happy that we finally got them in Black Series. And next up we have the Ronin, which was from the Star Wars Vision series. Now he was the Dark Lord of the Sith that led the Sith armies during the Sith Rebellion after their breakaway from the Jedi clans. However, he became disenchanted with what the Sith had become, ending the rebellion, and turned on his followers. He would then shed his identity to become the Ronin, wandering through the Outer Rim to hunt and eliminate other Sith. So he looks pretty cool here. Nice design. Now they've already released this in a black and white version, since that's kind of what it appeared like in the Vision storyline, but then they have it single release here where it's got more colors, you know, got skin tone and stuff to it, so that's pretty cool. Nice design overall for him, looks good. He does have a prosthetic jaw. He ended up getting shot in the jaw, and so like damaged. It's also he has like this prosthetic jaw now, which kind of looks cool. It almost looks like, you know, a beard sort of design, but it has a nice black line on it there as well. Face looks really good. Nice design. You know, it looks like it's sort of based off somebody, but you know, just from an anime character. Love the hair, like being back in the little bun with the hair in the front, so it's there blowing in the wind, so that adds some nice design to it. Then he's got mostly all black robes, with being being a former Sith, makes sense. So he's got this nice robe design up top, nice little chain link here holding it on him. So it's got a hood in the back, and then of course just hanging down there and stuff, all nice and tattered and flowing in the wind, all that sort of stuff. So it looks pretty good along with his underrobes as well. So it looks more like, I don't know if you'd call it like a gi design or something. So has like, the flaps over each other with a white underneath, white belt around the waist as well, hanging down, sort of blowing in the wind with the ties all the way down to his baggy pants, nice big baggy pants that come up to his shin. So a nice gap where we see some of his skin there. And then he's got some shoe designs, almost like tabby shoe designs. Actually, it looks just like sandal sort of designs on there with sort of like socks on his feet or whatever is going on there. Nice design overall, looks like very ancient Japan sort of design. So it looks very cool overall for this. But for movements, the head will twist all the way around, look down that far and up that far. So decent movements there in the head, shoulders up to 90 with the butterfly and rotate around. Get the single elbow joint that bends to 90 with rotation. And then the wrist will twist all the way around and hinge up and down for this hand. Then we go to the ab crunch, and of course they'll crunch back and forth there at the waist. So crunch and twist all the way around, down to the hips up towards 90 and to the side there. He's not far from the splits, which is nice. A little bit of a thigh twist going on. And the single knee joint bends back with rotation. Then down to leg does have a shin twist, sort of hidden up in the pants. Then the foot will rock back and forth and twist side to side. And although he's got the bigger bag, it closed the robes and all that, it doesn't really get in the way too much, causes a little bit of issues, but not too bad. Now for accessories, he does come with a lightsaber, but it's in a scabbard. So I don't know if they didn't have retractable lightsaber blades back then, but we get the nice red lightsaber being a part of the Sith. That then comes with a scabbard as well. So we get the nice hard scabbard there, nice like silver mid colors with some darker gray there at the end or whatever. So I assume we can attach this on him somewhere. Oh yeah, there's a hole right here to the side. So we got 2 holes for each of his weapons. So we can take and peg this on him. So there I got that in. I did slide it under the belt because the belt was kind of loose there and had that gap. So I put that under there so we can then pull his lightsaber out and we'll put it in his hand. So there he's got the lightsaber, which has a nice hilt design as well. It's very like squared off and everything, so very much like a samurai sword, but love the gold details on it as well. So that looks pretty cool there. And then he comes with another weapon of the blaster, which is the one that ended up injuring his jaw. So with this, which is kind of like a nice longer like rifle design and stuff, I assume it's there sort of in like a sheather holder as well. So of course we get that as the peg design. So we'd stick that in the other hole that's more towards the front. So we can have both of those together there. But let's maybe try and put this in his hand. So there he's holding the gun, so you can kind of get in that. It doesn't really hold on to the best, but you can hold it where his fingers there at the trigger and all that. So that looks pretty cool. And of course, hold his lightsaber, we can get him posed up and stuff. So that looks pretty cool. And it's a nice design overall for the Ronin. And then we've got Ezra Bridger, so moving over to the Ahsoka show now. So he was transported to Peridia in another galaxy aboard the Chimera that were transported by the Purgle. There, Ezra became a nomad and befriended the natives and deepened his connection to the Force. Then about 10 years later, he was found by Sabine Wren, and upon reconnecting with his friends, he built a new lightsaber with Huyang, and they took the fight to Thrawn as the Chimera was preparing the jump to hyperspace, with only Ezra making it aboard, leaving Sabine, Huyang, and Ahsoka back on Peridia. So we get him here as they first find him, where he's more in sort of that more nomad design stuff, so it looks good overall. So I love how he's got the longer beard design. Of course, it's a little bit longer hair, not like crazy long or anything, but still a little bit longer there, so it looks good. Of course, with our likeness of Amon Esfandi, looks pretty good with his likeness there. Love like the scars there on his cheek and everything. Looks good for that. Then we get his outfit, so he has the nice like maroon color robe or whatever over the top, a little bit of like armor padding here on this side. Looks pretty nice, whatever is going on there. Then the chainmail sort of shirt like underneath there with the like Jedi looking robes on over the top, belt around the waist, little sash here with some pockets off to the side. Then the other shirt design that are all connected together. Looks good. Some nice pants, so weird like an orangish burnt orange sort of brown color there. And then wrapped up armor there on the leg and stuff. Looks pretty nice. And the boots there on the seat. So it looks pretty decent overall. Not my preferred look for Ezra, but just how he appeared in the show, being a part of that sort of nomadic life and native life and stuff. But for movements, the head will twist all the way around, look down that far and up that far. So pretty decent, pretty nice movements. Best movements so far today. Shoulders will come up to 90 with the butterfly back and forth and rotate around. Then we get the single elbow joint to 90 with rotation. Wrist will twist all the way around and hinge up and down. Then we get the ab crunch, so crunch back and forth and twist around there. Then the hips will come up to 90 and out to the side. Get a thigh twist up in there. Yeah, I'll twist all the way around for him. The single knee joint back with rotation in it. Then a shin twist there at the top of the boot with the foot flex back and forth and twist side to side. So yeah, the same movements as all the other, just maybe a little bit more range it seems like with him, but still good overall, looks good, works out good, so everything's good. Then for accessories, all he comes with is his new lightsaber that he built with Huyang, so kind of reminiscent of like his older lightsaber design, maybe more like Kanan's or something there with the hilt design and stuff, a little bit of gold on it, and his blue lightsaber blade, so we can put this in his hand. So there's Ezra with the lightsaber, looks pretty good there. Of course, we've had another version of Ezra already from the Ahsoka show, so this was from the hologram that Sabine listened to, so kind of weird with the face design, especially compared to the older version here, but it still looks pretty good, so there's a nice comparison of the two. You can see difference with their lightsabers and all that stuff, so nice comparison there. And of course, with this Ezra, he can bring in his friends of Sabine and Ahsoka as they appear in the show there alongside him, so very nice to add this Ezra now with our Ahsoka figures. And next up, we have the Night Trooper, which is actually a Death Trooper, but they're elite stormtroopers that were specialized in stealth, espionage, and lethality, and they act as protective detail for significant Imperial officers, as well as special assignment commandos for the Imperial intelligence. But if you were among Thrawn's forces on Pridia, and when they died, they were reanimated by the Night Sisters' magic. So that's what we get here. We get more of the zombified version of the Death Troopers, because we can really see that there with the zombified face shown under the broken mask. So looks pretty good with the outfit design that like the Night Troopers had, so it's their normal outfits but were re-put together with the gold design. Again, I always forget the name of what that's called, but it looks pretty good, and then the red wrappings and stuff, so it adds a lot of cool detail. Really like it on like the Stormtrooper designs for the Night Troopers, and then having it here on the Death Troopers as well is pretty cool. But like I said, we just get the broken mask though, showing the zombified face, so after they get killed, they're brought back to life by the Night Sisters now as these zombified creatures, so it looks pretty good. So you can try and like pose that up. It'd be nice if he had like an open mouth or something, you kind of like get that, but it looks pretty good with the Death Trooper design, like I said, just with the red and gold details added onto it, so it looks good just all around there, so pretty nice details overall. But movement-wise, the head will twist all the way around and look down that far and then up that far, so not the best movements. Shoulders will come up to 90 and rotate all the way around. Get the single elbow joint to 90 with rotation, wrist twist around and hinge back and forth here. Then we get the ab crunch, so up ab crunch, crunch back and forth and twist all the way around. And then down to the hips will come up, and if you twist the arm out to the side, can get up to 90 there, and out to the side that far. Maybe, yeah, you can't really get it any further than that. Has a thigh twist and the single knee joint that bends back with rotation, down to the foot that rocks back and forth, and twists very little side to side. So not bad for movements, obviously not the best today at all, but you know, just works out fine, but pretty cool with the design overall. And for weapons, the only thing he comes with is the 11D blaster, which is the normal weapon for the Death Trooper, so we get that we can give to him. So there's our Night Trooper with his gun there. And of course, we can bring in the real Night Troopers, or the Stormtroopers with the armor design. So there's the before zombified version there, so we get those together. And of course, with both of those, we can bring in our leaders, so we can have in Thrawn and Morgan Elsbeth here, of course, part of the Night Sisters that bring the Death Troopers back to life. So very cool overall to have the Death Troopers now to go along with our Night Troopers, all a part of our bad Thrawn group there. And finally, moving over to the skeleton crew, we've got SM-33, which is a droid pirate that served as the first mate on the Onyx Cinder, loyally serving whoever holds the title of captain. He has a cranky demeanor and lives by the laws of the pirate code, with a bile rat snowball living in his empty left eye socket. So it looks pretty cool here for SM-33. Probably about the last character I expect we get from Skeleton Crew. You know, once we saw him, is like, oh, that'll be so cool to get as a figure, and now we finally have him here. So it looks good. So it's mostly just all this robot design. Reminds me a lot of like K2SO and stuff, with like the head design, the overall body design, but he does have some cool functions that go along with him that we see throughout the show. He has a peg leg there since he is a pirate, so that's pretty nice. So one normal like robot leg and a peg leg design, which is cool. And of course his name is SM-33, which look how it's spelled, is pretty much Shmi. So Shmi from the Peter Pan storyline, you know, the servant of Captain Hook and everything. So it makes sort of sense there with the name and all that. So it looks good with the design. Like I said, we got the like sort of tubing hanging out, almost like hair design. I don't know exactly what more it's supposed to be, just all the tubing stuff coming out of there, the empty eye socket that we'll be able to put the little rat in, and then his body so big, armor chest plate, the arms come down with some armor sword all over them. Then the legs, love how big and thick the hips are and stuff. The midsection there, it's, you know, sort of like C-3PO where it's just all wiring and everything, down to the legs like I already showed with the normal foot, and then the peg leg there. So it just looks good overall with his design. Now for movements, that will twist around. Now, of course, with that, the wire stuff can't really go too far, so twist side to side there. You can look down a little and then up a little there. And of course, there's movement in the neck as well that allows some additional movement, so you can get some adjustments going on in there. Then the arms will come up to 90 and even has a butterfly joint on those, and we'll rotate around. Get a bicep twist as well, just right under the armor there, and the single elbow joint that bends forward that far, and then can bend back as well with that robot design. And then we go down to the wrist, they'll twist all the way around and rock back and forth there. Then we go to like an ab crunch sort of design, so where all the wires are and stuff. So rock back and forth and twist around there as well. The hips will come up to 90 and then out to the side a little there, so you get to move back and forth. Of course, it can go backwards and everything, and inside and out. A little bit of that hip twist as well. Then the single knee joint back that bends back with rotation, all the way down to the foot that rocks back and forth and twists side to side. So you get the sort of like twisting joint there. It's mostly at the ankle with it. But then what's cool about him is that he also has like his extended out mode. So like in the show, we see extends out, so there you can see it sort of pull him up as the chest, and then the arm section as well, so we get a little bit of segment that pulls out there, as well as extending out forearms. Of course, some of these are really hard, so that was like hard to really get out, so it is kind of hard to extend some of this stuff. So you get the really long arms there, which is kind of crazy funny, and then the legs extend as well. So there he is now all extended out. So he's pretty tall now, more of like the size of K2SO and everything. So that's pretty cool that he can do all that. But of course, being this tall, kind of makes him top heavy now. So he falls a lot easier and everything. So thankfully they do give us a stand we can put on his normal foot. So that'll help keep him standing. But it's just really cool having him in the full extended out mode here. Again, it's hard to really sort of show you what it looks like. So we get some more extended pieces. So in the like upper thigh piece here, and then the lower leg segments on both of the legs as well. So it makes him really tall now. And of course, as we bring in other characters, you'll see just how big he is and stuff. Like I said, kind of makes him hard to stand, so especially with having that foot stand on, it helps a little, but he still falls over, as you can see, so still doesn't work out the best, especially if like joints are weak and stuff. He'll kind of bend at those joints, but you can't get him standing. Like I said, he just doesn't stand the absolute best, but there we got him standing. Now for accessories, he does come with the little Bioras snowball, so of course it's just this little tiny creature. I don't even know if I can show it to you. Yeah, I even zoomed in all the way. I can't really show it there. You can kind of see, so I don't really know what's going on. It's hard to really tell like the design and stuff. It just looks like a little brown blob and stuff here, but we can then stick this in the eye. Of course, a little tiny creature probably will fall out pretty easily and everything, and then you have to worry about that. So you can have that now in the eye there of SM-33 sort of sticking out like it does in the show many of the times. So that is pretty cool. And then the final accessories, he comes with these arm shields, which again we see in the show. So he had these sort of shields already on him, so we could pop those off and then put these on him, so like additional shields to protect from blaster fire and everything, as you see with the effects. So let me put these on him. So there has the shields on the arm now as well, so you can have those. Of course, I don't really know how you'd get him like posed up to like make it look good, but at least he does have those additional armor plates on him that he comes with. So like I said, more additional things to help sort of protect him in fights and all that. Now, of course, to go along with him, we have some of our other characters, of course, John and Wood. So we get him there as well as Wim. So I just grabbed one of the kids, so you can see how tall he is here in this form. So big for SM-33, but of course, I think I'll go and just shrink him down just so you can see what he looks like in his normal shrunk down form. So there he is back down in normal height there. So that's what he'd look like normally compared to our other characters. So pretty cool that he can do all the extended mode like he did in the show and all that. So that's really cool that they were able to build that in. Like I said, it doesn't really function the best. A lot of them are really stiff, so I'm afraid I'm like going to break them trying to get them extended and closed back in. But it's cool that it does have that function. And for a droid with like the sort of movement stuff, does work really good, especially compared to some of our other droids like battle droids and everything. So really cool for SM-33 here. So that's it for our wave here of our Star Wars Black Series Disney Plus figures, where from the Clone Wars, we got the Jedi Temple Guard. From Visions, we got the Ronin. From the Ahsoka show, we got Ezra and the Night Trooper. And then from Skeleton Crew, we got SM-33. So all 5 of these characters are really cool. Love, especially like the Temple Guard, the Ronin, and SM-33. Not as crazy about like the Ezra and the Night Trooper, just because, they're just human sort of characters. Nothing really too special about them. Of course, with the Night Trooper, we get the zombified version, but still nothing too crazy besides like the zombified face there. And Ezra does look really good. They did a really good job with the likeness and stuff. Just when I get basic like human characters like this, I'm never really that excited about them, but still good figures overall to add to the collection now, so no real complaints about any of them. So let me know what you thought of these 5 down in the comments, and if you enjoyed my review, let me know with that like and hit the subscribe button to see more. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.